Welcome back to part 3 of our conversation with Fulton County Commissioner Mark Rodriguez. How many hours a week on average does it take to be an effective Fulton County Commissioner?
I've taken a look at that recently. I'm figuring that I'm serving something in the neighborhood of 10 hours a week. I guess to gauge whether or not that's effective or not is not necessarily up to me, but I feel like that's what I can contribute.
What is the most difficult thing about being president of the commission?
Well, I think that quite often people are pulled towards the idea that there's an individual, much like in a city, a mayor, who they can go to and present them with a concern or an issue, and that person can perhaps bring a solution pretty quickly, and they can provide single leadership. County Commissioner does not work that way. County Commissioner is a consolidation of effort of 3 individuals, and sometimes me being the strong-willed person I am, and sometimes like to just take the bull by the horns, sometimes I have to sit back and realize that I've got to be working within the parameters of that requirement.
US 31 is being upgraded to a limited access freeway style highway. How many points of access will there be in Fulton County when it is all done? Do you know where there will be? And I'm wondering if the county will be forced to build frontage roads.
Okay, well, I'm glad I had this meeting this week instead of last week, because I just attended the US 31 Coalition meetings on Tuesday of this week. And of course we had all of the engineers and project engineers that are currently involved in the first 3 phases of this operation. It's very impressive what they're doing, and there was a time that I wondered if it was accurate to even try to talk about this topic, because I wasn't completely sure. And actually, as of last week, until last week, the Hamilton County piece of this had not been finalized, that the dollars had been identified. The thing I took away from that meeting, although there's no money appropriated, there is no hard design saying where overpasses and these sort of things are going to be located. What I took away from that meeting is there is only one plan, and that is that the highway between South Bend and between 465 and Indianapolis, that we know to be 31, that the focus and effort is going to make that an interstate level highway. The commissioners are we're very integrated in that process right now. We're interested in trying to put our effort in front of, and that's what by being involved in the US 31 Coalition, is about the best effort you can make right now to get your case in front of people. I think ideally we would like to see another 4-leaf clover, diamond shape exit around Rochester. I think this is pure speculation, but I think that 25 has probably already been identified as a potential exit, but something. And then as far as overpasses, looking at what they're doing up north right now in South Bend, where they're putting the overpasses and the patterns that are being filled there, I think, and it's just pure speculation, but I think, we're probably going to be looking at hopefully an overpass down around the Niola Lake area and one up north to 110, and then it comes down to what roads will they arch the highway with no access, but give I don't know if frontage roads are a huge consideration right now, at least from the plans I saw the other day. Frontage roads weren't part of the conversation.
So we're talking about a big exchange about in the middle of the county, and maybe smaller exchanges north and south?
That's correct.
And
that is just purely based on what you're seeing in development right now. And I would encourage anyone who wants to get a better understanding, you can go right up to the US 31 Coalition website. They've actually put some PowerPoints up there that they showed us the other day, and I think you'll get a good feel of the approach here. And we are collaborating, we and other with other county commissioners, mayors, but the coalition itself is a group that is a voice for these communities that are on 31. And again, the commissioners, we have a fund set up to meet some of the needs of the 31 transition. We would hope to be able to use those funds to meet any need, but you know, frontage roads are certainly something we have to keep ourselves available and open to.
Mm-hmm. When will the Mount Zion Dam and Bridge be complete?
Well, that's another great question. However, I think that we are going through a process, and the process began some time ago, but we actually have two processes in place right now. 2 years ago, we got ourselves, along with only 7 other small dams in the United States, authorized through the Water Resource and Development Act. Senator Lugar and Congressman Donnelly sponsored legislation that got us authorized to receive money to repair our dam. The second part of that was that each year now we go in for they go in for funding allocations of what people commonly refer to as earmarks. Not a very popular term in DC, but we have right now earmarked about $800,000 for this project for the dam. The appropriation to replace the bridge has been completed, and we know that we have the money to complete that project. That will need to be updated again in this year, 2010, should we not secure our funding on the dam. The second part of that is we are right now doing an income survey of the inundation area of a potential catastrophe spill if the dam would fail. And we're going to do a income survey of that particular area, and we're going to apply for a $2.5 million OCRA grant. That's the Office of Community Rural Affairs grant. That's another federal grant opportunity that just became available this year. We have a grant writer preparing that grant. We should hear something on that back, and I believe we're in a May, June time frame on that. So we're pursuing 2 different avenues. When that dam will be done it will be done when the money is available to complete construction. And
so you're stockpiling this grant money as you go along?
And we're engaged with the Army Corps of Engineers on one side. If we don't have to pursue the original grant, then we can, if we pursue the OCRA, we can pursue that almost immediately upon acceptance of that grant. All of our engineering is done. Our cost estimates are done. The environmental studies are done. It's just a matter of having enough funds available to complete that project.
Total package cost?
Well, we've heard estimates from $4.5 million to $5.5 million. I think that's just simply what is probably influenced that is we've brought other bodies of government into this. When Army Corps of Engineers was selected to be the project manager, we began seeing some additional escalation of cost. I think that will all kind of, once we know the path we're following, those exact figures will become a lot clearer.
Let's take a quick break and come back and talk about computers and computer systems.